There are some quadrilaterals, though, that have special certain properties, okay? And they have their own certain names. Now, you guys already know these names. It says a quadrilateral with two pairs of parallel sides. Two pairs of parallel sides is a what? Two pairs of parallel sides. I want you to think about it. Parallelogram. I want you to draw this figure, okay? Two pairs of parallel sides. That ought to be easy to remember. Why? The property is in the name of the figure, parallel, okay? To write the name of a parallelogram, you use this symbol. You just write a little one, and then you name the vertices. What do those arrows represent? That they're parallel. If they were congruent, then it would be just those little hatch marks, remember? So that would be parallelogram A, B, C, D. Does it matter where I put those marks? Yeah, I have to put the one mark with opposite the one mark. I have to put the two marks opposite the two marks, correct? So a parallelogram, bless you, says a parallelogram, hold on. Here we go. Flip to this page. You got 5 properties, okay, of a parallelogram. 5 properties. And we're going to name it A, B, C, D. I want you to think about this. The definition of a parallelogram is that opposite sides are parallel. So I like to see that they're parallel. That's by definition. So we know that opposite sides are parallel. We know that opposite sides are also going to be congruent. Now, the way I'm going to put this on here is I'm going to use side measures. If side AB is 12 meters, then what is the length of side DC? 12. And if AD were 8, then what would BC? It would be 8. So this says that opposite sides are parallel and congruent, correct? This is for a parallelogram. And then look at what it says. Opposite angles are congruent. We could get out protractors and we could literally measure these angle measures, okay? But angle A appears to be what kind of an angle? It appears to be obtuse. So even without seeing, I'm just randomly choosing an obtuse number, okay, 100. If angle A is 100 degrees, is there another angle up there that is also 100 degrees? Angle C. How do you know? Because it says opposite angles are congruent. But if you look at it, isn't that the only other obtuse angle there? Yeah? So we got opposite angles are congruent. How are we going to find angles B and D? Why? Because it says consecutive. What does consecutive mean? Let me tell you what consecutive. That's what consecutive means. A 180 from 100 is what? That's right. Well, looky there. 100 plus 80 is 180. If you keep going, angle B plus angle C totals up to how much? 180. Angle C and angle D better equal up to what? So angle D, what's the measure of angle D? How would you know that? Because it's opposite to which angle? which is 80 degrees. Comprende? Okay? Now, here we go. What else? So we've got opposite angles are congruent. So we've got opposite sides are parallel, opposite sides are congruent. Opposite angles are congruent. Consecutive angles are equal to 180, right? What about their diagonals? Because this is important, okay? The diagonals bisect each other. What does bisect mean? How do they cross? In the middle. Be more specific. Between the two. Be more specific. Ooh, say it again. Ooh, 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 ooh. Hold that thought. Draw me a diagonal AC. And draw me a diagonal BD. And we're going to call this point in the middle, let's call it point A, B, C, D, E. You with me? The diagonals bisect each other. Now that I have drawn two diagonals, Carson, what can I do to my diagonals? Because you guys know I'm a picture person. I got to see the picture marked up. How can I mark up this picture? Tick marks. So be more specific. Who would be congruent to who? If the diagonals bisect each other, bi means two, so it's intersecting at two congruent pieces. It's making. Go ahead. So name the segments. AE is congruent to EC, and they are two separate measurements. The only time those pieces will be congruent is when it's what kind of special quadrilateral? Or what's an equal O? There's another quadrilateral other than a square that the diagonals pieces will all four be equal to each other. What is it? Nope. Nope. Not always. So what did you just say? It is a rectangle. It's a rectangle and a square. Okay? So let's look at it. What do you have to know about opposite sides? In a parallelogram, what do you know? They are congruent and parallel. What do you know about opposite angles? Congruent. What do you know about consecutive angles? They equal to 180. Get out of my way so I can see, Miss Perry. What do you know about the diagonals? They bisect each other, right? Uh-huh. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I'm saying it 500 times. Here we go. You ready? What do you know about opposite sides? Two things. What do you know about opposite sides? And do not look at your paper. They are parallel by the definition and congruent. What do you know about opposite angles? Opposite angles are congruent. What do you know about consecutive angles? They equal 180. What do you know about the diagonals? They bisect. Okay, we're going to play a little game, and I like this game. You ready for this? What's the first thing you know about opposite sides of a parallelogram? They're congruent. What did he say? What's congruent? Opposite sides are congruent. Opposite sides are also, try again. Parallel. So we got opposite sides are congruent. So look how we're going to use these properties. It says in parallelogram CDEF, DE, is 74 millimeters. And DG is 31 millimeters. And the measure of angle FCD is 42 degrees. Find CF. Find CF, which is right here. It's a parallelogram. How do I know it's a parallelogram? Say what?
None of
the lines are touching each other, but the symbol. The symbol. The symbol. shows us that it's a parallelogram. So, yeah. What is the measure then of side CF, y'all? 74. Why? No. There you go. Write that down. Very good, Cody. Opposite sides are congruent. Right on. Cody, I like your purse. EFC. Find it. EFC. Right there. How are we going to find that angle measure? EFC. That was my foot. That was my foot in my shoe that made that noise. That was my foot. I would explode or run like crazy out of the classroom. EFC, y'all, what is it? No. What three numbers? But 32, 31 and 74 don't even have to do with angle measures. They're side measures. Amber, what do you think? Subtract 42 from 180. Why? Consecutive angles are equal to 180 degrees. What is 180 minus 42? 138? Is it important that I write down this stuff here in parentheses? Yeah, it is important. How about DF? Well, it says that DG is 31. What do you know about the diagonals in a parallelogram? They bisect. Patrick, what do you think? They do bisect each other, yes. But what is the measure of DF? You add them together. What is GF? 31. That's 31 because the diagonals bisect each other. So I'm going to take 31 plus 31, which is 62, which is DF, because diagonals bisect each other. Okay? That's good. Very good. You need to put these reasons down on your paper. Here we go. Look at the next page. It's a parallelogram. It's a parallelogram. It says LM is 28 inches. It says LN is 26. That's that whole thing. And LKN, this angle is 74 degrees. Find KN. Don't say anything out loud. Find that on your own, please. You are finding KN. Why? I'm not done. I'm not done. Don't do that. What's KN? It's what? 28 inches, yes. 28 inches. KN, why? Opposite sides are congruent. Do you have that written down? Because if you don't, it's not complete. How about NML? Where is that angle? NML. Is it in the, bless you, top right, bottom left, top left? NML. Where is it? Top left. It's right here. Okay? What's the measure of that angle? 74 degrees. Why? Opposite angles are congruent. Very good. Hello. Hello. What? Look at it again. LO. It's half of 26, which is 13. 26 divided by 2, which is 13. Why? What's the property? Diagonals bisect each other. You need to write that down. Smile. Hello. Are we ready? Come on now. Surely we're not done. Shut up. No. All right, we're ready? Are we ready? All right, here we go. Oh, yeah. Look at here. Look at here. WXYZ is a parallelogram. And you've got to find YZ. What? How do you even begin? What are you given? Are we finding a side measure or an angle measure? Side measure. All right, what do we know about the sides? What are congruent? What measure? Right. Don't just random things. Or don't. What is it, Amber? Opposite sides are parallel and congruent. Okay? Opposite sides are parallel, but more importantly, for this particular problem, they're congruent. So that means that WX is equal to Z. Let's put YZ because that's what it's asking for. Do you guys agree with that? All right, now it's just substitution. What is WX? 6A plus 10. What's YZ? 8A minus 4. Then what? Solve it for A. Solve it for A. And then plug it back in and figure out what YZ is. A is 7, and that's my answer, right? What do I have to do? I have to plug it back into YZ. Now, this is the part, folks, where it can come back and bite you big time. On the SOL, guess where 7 is going to be? It's going to be A. It's going to be the first answer you come to. And how many people do you think are going to click A? A whole bunch. A whole bunch. We want to find 8A minus 4. Okay? Plug that in. 56 minus 4, which is 52, right on? How many of you had 52 for that side measure? All right, so if YZ is 52, what's the measure of WX? 52 as well. It's the same. Now, find the measure of angle Z. How in the world? Look at what we're given. As far as angle measures, we are only given information about angle Z and angle W. Are they? Why? What kind of angles are they? They are consecutive angles. And what do you know about consecutive angles, folks? They equal 180. So, how am I even going to begin to solve that? That's right. Consecutive angles are equal to 180. Ooh. And now you combine like terms. I got 27b minus 9 equals 180. How many of you got that far? That's good. That's good. Add 9. 27b is equal to 189. Divide both sides by 27. b is equal to 7. Is that what it asked for? Nope, it asked for what? Now, where do you think 7's going to be? It'll be the first one. It'll be the very first one. We're asked to find the measure of angle Z, which is 9b plus 2, isn't it? 9 times 7 plus 2, which is 63 plus 2, which is? What's the other consecutive angle then? Warm. How would I find out? There you go. Its consecutive angle, 180 minus 65 is 115 degrees. So there are lots of different extensions we can do to these problems and try to figure this stuff out, okay? 180 minus 65 is equal to 115. So if I had to go back and put these measures into my picture, 9b plus 2 was how much? That was 65 degrees. What other angle, don't you say anything, what other angle is 65 degrees, y'all? Is that right? Okay. And we solved for W, which was 115, which leaves angle what to be 115? 115. Angle Y. Pardon me?
It's like if Z is a straight line, Z gets straight X, and Y goes straight up to W.
So you have to know that it goes with 180, right? Consecutive angles are 180 degrees. Let's go to the next one. Oh, you're finding missing variables with the following parallelograms. What do you know about opposite sides? What do you know about opposite sides? Two things. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la. Two things. Go. They're parallel and congruent. What do you know about opposite angles, Joseph? Opposite angles are congruent. What do you know about consecutive angles, Summer? They equal 180. What do you know about diagonals? They bisect each other. Good. All right, go back to this. Parallelograms have parallel sides, right on? So if they have parallel sides, are we also going to use maybe, transversal, maybe some alternate interior angles? Things that we learned back in September, right? Or October. What would be the easiest one to figure out right now? Well, let's think about it. If you think of consecutive angles, then those are consecutive angles. Do you guys agree? What do consecutive angles equal? 180 degrees. Write this down. You can do this problem a couple different ways. I'm going to go this way first. I know that consecutive angles equal 180. That means 120 plus 30 plus that little y, because 30 and y make up that one big angle, right? Equal 180. Can you solve that equation? Of course you can. That's 150 plus y. How am I going to solve for y? Subtract 150, so y is equal to, so daggone, y is equal to 30 degrees. What's x? It's 30 degrees. If you think back to your parallel lines, that's an alternate interior angle. And you know that alternate interior angles are congruent. So that means that x is 30 as well. Hey, what do you know about, just throwing something at you, what do you know about opposite angles in a parallelogram? Opposite angles are congruent. So what's this angle right here? Okay. Folks, what about this right here? What I'm darkening here in green. What's that? Oh, that's a triangle. And what's the sum of the angles in a triangle?
180.
Are they equal to 180? Yeah. Question? I already saw that, huh? Did you already see that? So not only are we using what we know about parallelograms, we are using what we know about what? Parallel lines. We're using what we know about triangles, and we're throwing it all in the same figure. Isn't this fun? It's a ball, having a blast. So much fun. I'm having fun. Here we go. Hey, see what you can do with example 9. What's it going to be? You see what you can do with that one. Where did we even start? Opposite what? You pick one. 25. 25. What else is 25? Why? Is it opposite? Is it alternate interior? It's alternate interior. Okay, I'll buy that. Alternate interior angles are congruent. Hey, why am I keep putting all this stuff in parentheses?
So we know what it is.
So you'll know why. It is like a proof. It is like a proof. Hey, what about, all right, so I got 25. X is 45, why? Alternate interior again. Oh, okay, so if I were to do this, what if I got focused on this little bottom triangle right here? So I got 45, 25. How in the world am I going to find that third angle? Why? Because it's a triangle, woman. 45, 50, 60, 70 from 180 is 110. Okay, so I still haven't found W. Is that the universal sign for vertical angles? Vertical, I'm just picking at you. W, so usually I'm the only one. If I had to tie my hands down, I couldn't talk. So, vertical angles. W is going to equal 110 because of vertical angles being congruent. Do you guys agree with that? Awesome. Questions? How many of you got all those little pieces right? Let me ask you this. How many of you got, okay, one of the three correct? That means if you got 2 or 3 or 1 correct, you got hands up. All right, hands up high. There we go. How many of you got 2 of 3 correct? How many of you got all of them right? Few, several of you. That's good. That's really good. All right, so what's next? Here's what. Hey guys, look right here, please. On page 395, 3 through 12, 3 through 8, because this is what you're going to see, folks. Okay? Look at page 395. And am I blowing all of y'all up with homework? Yeah, I am. I don't. You got to learn this mess. Okay? So get your books open to 395, and I want you to look at this first problem. So it's got that fence or whatever. What's it called? Handrail. Look at that handrail. Beautiful. What number is that for? 3 through 8, Brandon? Okay. So for 3 through 8, we've got that handrail, and it looks something like this. Okay? Let me see your book here just for a second. That's the type of problem you're going to see on the SOL. It's not going to be just straightforward little piddle-fart problems. It's going to be something that you would use in real life. Now, somebody's got to create that handrail. Somebody has to, and they've got to know how to come up with that. So my recommendation for 3 through 8 is you draw that picture separate. Don't draw it as a handrail, just draw it as a what? Just draw it as a parallelogram. And follow the rules and check your odd answers as you go along. The instructions tell you that a handrail is made from congruent parallelograms in ABCD. AB is 17.5. DE is 18. I'm sorry, I'm in your space. BCD is 110 degrees. That's all you need to find the other angle measures and most of the other segment measures. Now I'm going to tell you it's going to be hard for you to do these with that marker unless you make your picture really big, okay? You find the rest of that information. And then when you get down here to numbers 9, 10, 11, and 12, you've got a totally new picture. You guys with me on this? Yeah. Okay? Work on this. Check your odd answers as you go. Comprende?